of the presidential campaign for Donald Trump. It was the moment that Donald Trump believed would never come when he began his presidential campaign, because Donald Trump did not expect to be the Republican nominee. He was just running to try to increase his fame, which was fading then. But then there he was, as the Republican nominee, with only 7 weeks left in a presidential campaign, and he had to admit that the foundational lie of his political career was a lie. The lie that endeared Donald Trump to American racists was a lie. The lie he began telling 5 years before the moment when he had to admit that it was a lie. The first time Donald Trump told this big lie in 2011, I immediately said it was a big lie, but sadly the news media did not then know how to handle it. Not only did they not call it a lie, they entertained it in repeated interviews in which they allowed him to tell that lie on national television and build his political base every time he told that lie. And it took 5 years for the news media to finally corner Donald Trump and force him to admit the foundational lie of the Trump political career.
President Barack Obama was born in the United States, period.
Couldn't you just see how that felt for Donald Trump? That was one of those days for Donald Trump when he had to do that. Today was one of those days. And so now, the chance of Mexico will pay for the wall will never be heard again.
When during the campaign, I would say Mexico's going to pay for it. Obviously, I never said this, and I never meant they're going to write out a check.
And it only got worse from there.
I don't expect. When I say Mexico, excuse me, when I say Mexico's going to pay for the wall, do you think they're going to write a check for 20 billion or 10 billion or 5 billion or 2 cents? No.
Not even 2 cents. Mexico is not going to pay 2 cents for the wall. That's not going to work as the new champ. The president also said today that Mexico would pay for the wall indirectly, which is exactly like saying President Barack Obama was born in Kenya indirectly. And so is the new champ going to be Mexico will pay for the wall indirectly? It is impossible for Mexico to pay for the wall indirectly. Impossible. President Trump said that the update of NAFTA that his administration has negotiated with Mexico will indirectly pay for the wall. That is impossible. First of all, the updated deal has not even been approved by Congress. And if you've been watching Congress lately, you might get the feeling that it might never be approved by Congress. But even if it is approved by Congress, there is nothing in that deal that indirectly pays for the wall. The only thing that can ever pay for the wall is an American taxpayer money that is processed in internal revenue processing centers that are now not processing anything because President Trump has shut down the government and IRS employees have been sent home. President Trump visited the state with one of the largest IRS processing centers in the country. 9,000 Texans work in the IRS processing center in Austin, Texas, the state that Donald Trump visited today. None of them will be receiving their paycheck tomorrow because of the Trump shutdown, and the Texans who are depending on quick processing of their 2018 tax returns in that processing center so that they can get their refunds that they desperately need, they will not be getting those refunds because their tax returns cannot be processed. And so did the 2 Texas senators join in the protests around the country against the Trump shutdown today and demand that those 9,000 Texans be sent back to work immediately and get their paychecks immediately? Did the 2 Texas senators spend their day with some of those 9,000 Texans whose families are being harmed by the Trump shutdown? No. They're Republican senators. The two Texas Republican senators spent their day in southern Texas near the border with the president, meeting with the Republican president who has shut down the government and harmed those 9,000 Texans. And they did not say one word about the Texans who have been harmed by the Trump shutdown. The president went to the southern border to try to convince Democratic members of Congress that there is an invasion at the southern border that can only be stopped with a wall. Before he boarded his helicopter at the White House, the president wanted to clear up something about his negotiating style.
I don't have temper tantrums. I really don't. I didn't pound on tables. I didn't raise my voice.
And here is the president not having a temper tantrum and not raising his voice.
If we don't get what we want, one way or the other, whether it's through you, through a military, through anything you want to call, I will shut down the government.
Okay,
absolutely.
fair enough.
And I am proud, and I'll tell you what,
disagree.
I am proud to shut down the government for border security, Chuck, because the people of this country don't want criminals and people that have lots of problems and drugs pouring into our country. So I will take the mantle. I will be the one to shut it down. I'm not going to blame you for it. The last time you shut it down, it didn't work. I will take the mantle of shutting down.